morning and greeting to all. Emirates has been symbol of exactness, kindness and reliability since a long time, which makes us globally famous. Still, we are facing few challenges. The challenges are really clear in front of us. How would Emirates go through digital transformation, sustainability and customer satisfaction while dealing with resistance and cultural changes? To put it clearly, through the work-live model, which shows us the external forces are changing our mission and our leadership expectations. The regulators such as ICAO, the European Union, are putting extremely tight emission reduction demands, while Qatar Airways and Etihad are leading the way in redefining the passenger experience. With AI and automation, operational excellence is enough. The forces require us to integrate and grow sustainably. In our force field analysis, we see both rising and inhibiting factors. The rising factors are carbon mandates, rapid digital innovation, and an increased number of travelers wanting to fly greener. The inhibiting factors are the price of SAF being 4 times of regular fuel, limited digital skill sets, and a perfectionist culture that does not want to take risks. The benchmark shows the Emirates has only 10% of AI SAF adoption, while Etihad is at 25% and Qatar at 30%. The gap is not done of aspiration but of preparedness, and that is determined by people confidence to change. Given it looks like culture is most important in this situation, what is the way from faith to preparedness?
Thanks, Omar. Absolutely, yeah. What you've covered there kind of covers or establishes what we have is a classic example of a readiness gap. And what causes this kind of cultural issue is a mix of different things. For example, we currently have a very centralized kind of top-down structure, which has been previously very effective in improving our customer service through control and risk evasion. It's this perfectionist attitude and hyper-focus on control, which is seen to kind of embedded itself in our culture. Any experimentation just introduces uncertainty and is subconsciously viewed as a threat to our own brand. So as a result, employees are now conditioned to kind of prioritize consistency over innovation and compliance over collaboration. You can think of the corporation as more of a machine where people have fixed mechanical roles and very little flexibility. So unfortunately, this creates a lot of resistance, and because of the change in external factors which are happening, as Omar has already pointed out, we need much faster responsiveness and more cross-functional management. This will increase our absorptive capacity and allow us to integrate new ideas faster. We'll be able to integrate kind of recumbent kind of innovations which our competitors have already made, and also if we can have the options innovate openly, inside the organization and also externally. So by making these changes, we will slowly change the kind of assumptions and beliefs. So lower level employees and also kind of new employees, if they want to contribute knowledge, they can. And also it gives us the option, if we want to kind of introduce new research and development, these ideas can be exchanged and implemented without any sort of resistance. An analogy of kind of thinking about this new culture would be thinking about it as an organism which can adapt to this kind of new environment. In this case, it's the digital and AI revolution, but still kind of constantly developing and learning like a brain would. So we'll tackle this step by step. First, we'll unfreeze, and then kind of as we change, we'll just listen and see what's happening. So we want to keep our employees. So ensuring that there's a coaching and supportive mentality and team spirit is also kind of vital. So employees just don't feel by shifting away from our kind of old values, they don't feel confused, isolated, or even maybe redundant as we kind of move through our transition. So to kind of support this, by training leaders and management in a transformational or supportive go path kind of style of leadership will be a priority to kind of empower all our employees. We can also perform some cross-functional diagnosis workshops, which will kind of discover the pain points of our employees. Also providing training around AIs and systems thinking. It will also prove handy as like we move through a transition and our organisation changes that don't feel left behind. As noted by our manicist, readiness involves discrepancy, efficiency, appropriateness, and principal support, as well as balances. Which means, for successful change, workers must view it as necessary and understand that they are capable of succeeding. They need to trust leaders as well as provide personal benefit for themselves. We can use like our new culture to ensure that the psychological conditions of our employees feel allows them to feel like security and certainty, so they can slowly settle into new conditions. We'll also embed a double loop learning framework, so teams ask kind of not just what went wrong, but also the assumption what caused it. So the perception of mistakes can be viewed as like a learning experience rather than a mistake. The real risk comes from the big shift in performative culture. The leaders and management could implement ideas without actual effect just to kind of boost like financial performance. So to avoid this, what we'll do is anchor behaviours into a reward measurement system. This means moving the key performance metrics from leadership away from financial outcomes to more cultural kind of balanced scorecard type metrics, such as like innovation, engagement rates, sustainability, learning and accomplishments, as well as like team collaboration projects. By making these more behavioural, it creates like lasting change instead of just doing it for show, and hopefully it should tackle any kind of deep psychological resistance to change. All this stuff we've just covered kind of ensures that we're ready for change, but ultimately it's operations that will decide the fate of our strategy. Simon, do you want to kind of illustrate this point for us?
Thanks, Gaming. From an operational point of view, our diagnostics say that our current structure is precise but not very agile. Wheel 6 box model clearly indicates a defined purpose but a lack of cooperation. And also the mechanism 7S framework uncovers a mismatch. And the strategy we are developing calls for innovation, while the existing values and skills are still aligned with the all procedures. As a move to close this gap, we are unveiling 6 experimental routes that will combine sustainable aviation fuel, also known as SAF, and also a predictive maintenance. The objectives are concretized. There will be 8% less fuel burn per 6 kilometer, 30% more predictable maintenance and performance dashboards shared across functions. The principle of this is dynamic capabilities will be our guide. We will sense opportunities and then through piloting seize them, finally scaling the transformation by enlarging the proven results. The price of sustainable aviation fuel is indeed high, but the future cost of inaction will be even higher. The main aim is to learn quickly and demonstrate that the method is scalable. The operational accountability will not be hidden. The 10 projects across function this year and 8% cut in carbon dioxide and 30% reduction in maintenance delays. Productivity and the eco-friendliness should be the two sides of the same coin. Zakir, how is finance going to help keeping this momentum affordable and disciplined?
You're absolutely right, Shyam. Poor governance means even top-notch companies doesn't work properly. So more than 50% of global transformations are said to die of bad prioritization. To avoid that, finance is taking transformation architecture through Executive Transformation Office (ETO), which is jointly led with strategy. So each project will evaluate based on strategic fit, ROI, and learning impact. Hence, investment will be in line with Sustainable Growth 2030. So for instance, creative management projects need an investment of $50 billion. Bring a 25% ROI and get back into 2 years. SAF pilots require $60 million, give a 10% of ROI and have a 4 years payback. Lower returns but higher strategic value. We are also putting aggressive assumption testing into practice to measure the expected versus actual results, which is converting finance into a learning partner as a part of this approach. 10% of each project's budget will be allocated for training and culture. Our key performance indicators (KPIs) are quite straightforward. Keep an excellent ROI of more than 15%, allocate 10% of capex to learning, and issue quarterly reports that connect financial performance with cultural and operational outcomes. However, good governance relies on timely data. Abid, how does digital transformation help achieve this?
I appreciate it, Sankey. So, integration is the foundation upon which change is built. So, grab its star model. We managing strategy, structure, process, people, and rewards way our digital innovation hub, a data platform that connects HR, finance, operation, marketing in one place. So, this connection creates a single source of trust, thus transforming insight into action. For instance, AI pilots have already cut down grounds delay by 9% and saved by the company 3 million per year, which in turn have been used to fund SFA expansion. This shows the strength of interconnected intelligence. Change will not be easy, but Coder and strategized model provides the following to us: a guide, tell employees how automation improves their jobs, make the part of the designing process, and where necessary talks through the chains. The use of the force is restricted to a balanced area such as cybersecurity and safety. The double looping learning philosophy is now applied to all digital teams where questioning of assumptions along with outcome is done, thus keeping our system in sync with our strategy. The targets to be achieved include a 30% increase in digital automation, 99.9% uptime, and access to full dashboard across all departments. So technology will not take over our workforce. It will, however, increase the potential of our workers by setting them free for the task of creativity and empathy. So, Omar, what is your view regarding how this change will impact Emirates' experience over our customers and stakeholders?
I really appreciate it, Abid. The customer perception must be the last to mirror our whole discussion. Our cultural web has charted a transition from flawless luxury to intelligent sustainability, for which we are already providing the environment purpose along with the premium service. The survey gives us clear picture of the demand that 72% of the travelers would go for sustainable airlines, and 65% would trust only the ones with digital innovation. Emirates can no longer ignore the change in customer mindset that sees luxury as responsible yet still delivered in a warm manner.
That realization, that's the first step of the promise. So, culture change isn't a campaign, it's an attitude shift that requires time and commitment just from us, and it's just like getting rid of self-doubt. So, our employees need to be able to associate trying, failing, and learning with excellence rather than the opposite of that. So, the fear of failure will change into confidence, and compliance will turn into genuine engagement by celebrating experimentation and rewarding collaboration. When people feel that innovation is secure, then that has an unstoppable force on the organization.
The operation will give that a conviction, a visible in action form. The 6 pilot routes are already shedding lights on the fact that sustainability is a factor that strengthens not slows but performance. This fuel burn the fuel burn is reduced by 8% and predictability of maintenance is increased by 30%. These figures prove the efficiency and environmental responsibility can work together as one system. Every flight and every process will show that smart design is the key to both profit and purpose. These figures prove that efficiency and environmental responsibility can work together as one system. Every flight and every process will show that smart design is the key to the both profit and the purpose.
Finance, for its part, will secure the progress and stable and strategic. By keeping the return of investment at least for 15% and putting 10% of the company's finance back into talent and culture, we are making sure that growth will not go faster than the ability of the organization. The Executive Transformation Office will make sure to scrutinize every investment, measure its merit, and then further refine it. The self-discipline has transformed dreams into continuous performance and at the same time shields the Sustainable Growth 2030 commitment.
And the digital hub does the unifying of all. It provides us with one single version of the truth throughout the organization, helping to connect data and decision instantly. The 2030 roadmap, which we have drawn up, already is made up of 3 phases: diagnose and align, pilot and scale, and embed and measure, through which we will not be managing separate projects, but rather setting up a permanent system for learning. The change will no longer in the form of sporadic bursts, but it will be integrated into the everyday way of functioning.
You are right, Abid. When the trio of sustainability, innovation, and service excellence become one, when customer receives our kindness and develops a sense of belonging, and shareholder perceives a clear gain, Emirates is not just a global airline anymore. It's a point of responsible development. This is the brand narrative that is required by the world. Empathy directed by technology, growth coupled with care.
Emirates 2030. Sustainable growth through digital intelligence and human empathy.
Innovation,
Responsibility,
Service excellence.
The 3 pillars of Emirates future.